The galaxy was dying, not slowly, not quietly, but in a storm of fire and chaos. Entire fleets vanished without warning, swallowed by something the scientists could not explain. The Void Reapers, massive, mysterious energy beings, moved like shadows across star systems, leaving nothing behind but silence and empty wreckage. Admiral Zilari of the Tauren fleet stared at the holographic map before him. Each red mark represented a lost fleet, a shattered civilization, a story ended in fire. His claws tapped nervously on the console. "We cannot hold them," he whispered, though no one in the room dared disagree. The council chamber was filled with leaders from the galaxy's major civilizations. Ellenite diplomats, Thrin generals, and even the quiet insect-like Zari emissaries sat around the great table, their forms tense. The air was heavy with fear, the kind of fear that made even the bravest leaders pause before speaking. "We need a plan," said High Commander Vortan of the Ellenite Navy, his voice steady despite the growing panic. "Evacuation is not enough. We must fight, or there will be nothing left to fight for." Vortan's words were met with uneasy silence. The Void Reapers had destroyed entire sectors in days, fleets reduced to drifting debris before reinforcements could even arrive. Conventional weapons did nothing. Fleets fired salvo after salvo, only to see energy waves from the Reapers absorb their attacks, leaving the ships unharmed. And when the Reapers struck back, ships vanished as if they were never built at all. "This is hopeless," said one Zari ambassador. His multifaceted eyes reflected the lights of the chamber. "We are not equipped to face these beings. We will all be destroyed." Before anyone could reply, the communications panel on the wall beeped. A soft, urgent tone. Every leader turned toward it. "Admiral Zilari," a voice said, tinged with surprise and disbelief. "We are receiving an unidentified transmission from unknown coordinates. A single ship, a human, in the middle of a galactic war. When humans were thought to be distant, isolated, and slow to reach these star systems, Zilari's claw hovered over the console as he hesitated. "Show it," he said carefully. The hologram flickered. A single starship appeared, unlike any design the Council had ever seen. Its hull was sleek, compact, and strangely elegant. There were no massive turrets or overwhelming weapons like the other fleets used. It looked almost fragile, and yet there was something commanding about it. Something daring. "Coordinates confirm," said a technician. "It is approaching our sector at high speed." "It is alone." A murmur ran through the council chamber. Alone? One ship against the Reapers? That was not just unlikely, it was impossible. Suddenly, the human ship's communications panel lit up. A calm, steady voice filled the chamber. "We can help. Follow our lead." The leaders exchanged confused glances. Some whispered to one another. Others looked skeptical. "Just one ship?" Vortan said, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Against the Reapers? We've lost entire fleets to these creatures. One ship will not survive. Perhaps humans are different," said a soft voice from the far corner. An Ellenite scientist adjusted his glasses. "Their ships are rumored to operate with energy cores unlike any other. They might survive attacks we cannot." The human ship, called the Starbound, continued moving toward the sector. Sensors showed no weapons charged, no defensive shields active. Yet every fleet monitoring it could not explain why their anxiety eased slightly. There was a strange confidence in the way it moved. Precise, calm, unwavering. Admiral Zilari made a decision. "Prepare to meet it. Let's see what these humans can do." The first encounter came sooner than anyone expected. The Void Reapers had descended on the Tauren fleet near the outer edge of the sector. Massive energy storms erupted in space as the Reapers struck, tearing through cruisers and destroyers like paper. Screams echoed across communications channels as ships were swallowed whole, leaving nothing but floating debris. And then the Starbound appeared. It darted between the Reapers' attacks like a fish weaving through a storm. Its hull shimmered as energy waves passed over it, but no damage appeared. It wasn't running from the Reapers. It was moving through them, weaving, dodging, predicting their attacks in ways no one else could. "Impossible," muttered Commander Rylan of the Zari fleet. "It should have been destroyed by now." But the Starbound did not simply survive. It changed the battle. Small waves of energy pulsed from its hull, disrupting the Reapers' attacks and giving fleeing ships room to escape. It moved with purpose, herding the Reapers away from the most vulnerable fleets. "Follow it," Admiral Zilari shouted. "We have no choice." The fleets obeyed, though hesitantly. Humans were unknown, unpredictable, and strange, but their sudden arrival had given the galaxy something it hadn't felt in decades: hope. In the chaos, the Starborn became a blur of motion. Sensors showed the Reapers adapting to its maneuvers, but every time they changed, the human ship adjusted faster. It was as if it could think 10 steps ahead, always a move ahead of the enemy. "Commander Vance," Zalari said, watching the battle unfold on the hologram. "How is one ship doing what hundreds of fleets could not? Humans see differently," whispered an Elenite scientist nearby. "They do not just react. They anticipate. They improvise. They think outside the rules we understand." Even among the Council, a quiet respect began to grow. These humans, small and untested by galactic standards, were doing what no one else could. After hours of cat-and-mouse maneuvers across the edge of a dying star system, the Reapers finally retreated, temporarily. Fleets that had been on the brink of annihilation survived. Ships limped away, battered and exhausted but alive. The Council chamber erupted in stunned applause. No one could believe what they had just seen. One human ship alone had changed the course of the battle. Yet even in victory, the humans remained mysterious. The Starborn did not linger. It sent a brief message: rest, recover, and prepare. "The fight is not over. Follow us and you will survive." Then it vanished, leaving the galaxy to wonder who were these humans, and how could one small ship hold the power to challenge the very force destroying everything. For the first time in decades, there was more than fear in the galaxy. There was hope. Hope that humanity, unknown and underestimated, might be the spark that could turn the tide. And as the alien fleets regrouped, they realized something profound. The rules of war had changed. The galaxy was no longer theirs to predict. Humans had arrived. The galaxy was still trembling from the first battle. Fleets that had survived the Void Reaper's initial attack were scattered across the sector, battered, low on supplies, and unsure if they would ever fight again. Yet the story of the human ship, the Starborn, spread like wildfire. Whispers of a single human capable of turning the tide of war reached every star system. Admiral Zalari stared at the display in his command center. The Starborn's trajectory was unpredictable, jumping between sectors almost as if it moved with purpose only it could understand. "Admiral, it is signaling again," said a young lieutenant. The human ship's voice filled the room, calm and steady. "Prepare your fleets. We have a plan. Trust us and you will survive." Zalari rubbed his claws across his faceplate. "Trust a single human ship? After everything we have lost?" But the Council's previous failure against the Reapers left them little choice. They began to organize a meeting in orbit near a neutral planet, one untouched by the Reapers' devastation. A delegation of alien leaders gathered cautiously in the human-designated coordinates. The Starborn descended slowly into orbit. Its hull glimmered under the sun's light. The humans on the bridge moved with purpose. Commander Ilara Vance, the human captain, observed the alien fleets with quiet intensity. Her eyes were sharp yet patient. She did not speak at first, letting the aliens sense that she was not afraid, even when surrounded by distrustful eyes. "Greetings," Ilara said finally. "I am Commander Vance of the Starborn. I understand your fleets have suffered greatly. I am here to help." The room remained tense. High Commander Vortan of the Elenite Navy crossed his arms. "One human ship cannot save all of us. How do we know you will not fail like the rest?" Ilara smiled faintly. "You do not. But you can choose to act or you can watch your fleets be destroyed. I am offering a choice." An awkward silence fell. Some of the alien leaders whispered to one another. The Thrin general muttered under his breath. "They are arrogant. Or crazy." Ilara ignored the comments and continued. "The Reapers are not invincible. They learn patterns, react to repetition. If we act unpredictably and work together, we can force them to make mistakes. Their strength comes from fear. We remove the fear, we remove their advantage." Zalari shifted uneasily in his chair. He had never seen anyone, human or otherwise, speak with such certainty. "And what do you propose we do?" Ilara gestured to the holographic display of the sector. "First, we must regroup. Dispersed fleets are easy prey. We will consolidate our forces, combining your ships with the tactics of humans. I will lead the first engagement to show you how." The Council hesitated. Coordinating multiple alien fleets had always been a challenge. Species often fought not just enemies but each other. Differences in strategy, communication, and even basic assumptions about battle often led to confusion. But the humans' confidence was oddly compelling. Something about their clarity made other leaders consider following orders without resistance. The next day, the fleets gathered in formation. The Starborn moved at the center, calm and steady, as if nothing in the galaxy could shake it. The alien fleets, nervous but determined, followed in formation. Sensors soon picked up a group of Reapers approaching. They moved like enormous storms of energy, dark and impossible to predict. The fleets tensed. Ships that had survived previous encounters shivered under the pressure of anticipation. Ilara's voice came over the communication network. "Stay calm. Watch our movements. We will show you how to fight." The human ship darted forward first, weaving between Reaper attacks. It released a small energy pulse, not enough to damage the creatures directly, but enough to confuse them. The Reapers hesitated, their patterns disrupted for a brief moment. Just enough for the alien ships to position themselves strategically. "Follow their lead," Silari shouted. "Do not scatter. Trust them." The fleets adjusted, moving with a precision they had never achieved before. The humans' movements created opportunities the aliens could not see on their own. A smaller Tauran cruiser managed to flank one Reaper and fire a concentrated energy beam, disrupting its movement. A squadron of Thryn fighters swooped through a gap the humans had created, harrying another Reaper. It was chaos, yet strangely controlled. Each alien ship, guided by the humans' unexpected tactics, became more effective. They were no longer just survivors. They were participants in a battle that suddenly felt winnable. Ilara's voice cut through again. Observe, learn, act, and act they did. Within hours, the alien fleets began to see the truth. Humans fought not by overwhelming power, but by thinking faster, adapting quicker, and daring to take risks no one else would. The Reapers could adapt to traditional attacks, but humans were unpredictable. Every maneuver seemed to be calculated yet fluid, improvisational and dangerous. After the battle, the alien fleets regrouped. Ships floated in orbit, some heavily damaged, others barely touched. Yet for the first time, the crews felt something they had not felt in months. Hope. High Commander Vortan approached the Starborn. His eyes narrowed as he studied the ship. "Explain this," he demanded. "One ship, one human changes everything." How? Ilara stepped forward. "I cannot give you all the details. Our technology is unique, and not everything can be shared immediately. But I can tell you this. Humans survive by thinking differently. We do not rely on brute force alone. We rely on creativity, adaptability, and cooperation. If your fleets adopt these principles, you will survive." Vortan's jaw tightened. He was a warrior, trained to respect power, and he saw power in the humans, not just in their weapons, but in their courage and confidence. "And if your humans are wrong?" he asked cautiously. "Then we die trying," Ilara replied calmly. "But if we do nothing, you all die for certain." Her words were blunt, but they carried weight. The alien leaders could sense the truth. Humans were fearless, not reckless. They calculated risks in ways other species could not, and that difference was now the galaxy's only chance. That night, fleets camped in orbit around the neutral planet. Alien crews shared stories of the battle, comparing notes and marveling at the human strategies. Some remained skeptical, unwilling to admit the truth. Others quietly began to imitate the humans' movements, experimenting with unpredictable maneuvers and daring flanking attacks. Silari remained on his bridge, studying the human ship. "Why are they so effective?" he muttered to himself. He watched Commander Vance walk the deck, issuing calm instructions to her crew, adjusting energy flows and scanning the galaxy. There was no panic, no hesitation, just determination. An Elenite scientist approached. "It is as I said. Humans do not simply react, they anticipate. They improvise, they adapt, and they inspire those around them. Their presence alone changes how the galaxy fights." Silari nodded slowly. "We may have underestimated them for far too long." Ilara overheard the conversation. She smiled faintly. Humans were not perfect, but they had one advantage: courage. They faced the impossible not with despair but with determination. And that determination was contagious. In the days that followed, the humans taught the alien fleets simple principles. Move unpredictably, adapt instantly, and trust one another. They did not demand obedience, they demonstrated it. And slowly, alien crews began to believe that survival was possible, not just hope. The galaxy had been dying. Entire fleets had been lost. Civilizations had begun to despair. And yet, with one human ship in the center of the storm, something incredible had happened. For the first time in years, the galaxy dared to hope. The galaxy had begun to breathe again. After the first encounter with the Void Reapers, scattered fleet slowly regrouped under the guidance of the human ship, the Starborn. But the respite was short. The Reapers were learning. They adapted faster than anyone expected. Commander Alara Vance watched the readings on her console with calm intensity. The energy patterns of the Reapers were shifting. "They're adapting," she said to her crew. "They're learning from our moves. That means we must evolve faster." Her first officer, Lieutenant Rin, frowned. "They are energy beings. How can we outthink them? They are nothing like ships or conventional weapons." Alara leaned over the console, her eyes sharp. "We do not fight them like we fight ships. They are patterns, not matter. If we can confuse the pattern, disrupt their rhythm, they will hesitate. And hesitation is all we need." Her words were simple, but the logic was subtle, almost impossible for alien fleets to grasp. Humans did not rely on brute force. They relied on observation, adaptability, and daring risks that others would never attempt. The Starborn led a small combined fleet into a sector known to be crawling with Reapers. Alien captains were nervous, their ships patched together from previous battles, energy shields weak, engines worn. Yet they followed the human ship, trusting Commander Vance's plan even if they did not fully understand it. "Stay in formation," Alara said calmly over the network. "Do not fire unless I give the signal. Watch us. Learn from us." The Reapers attacked as expected. Enormous storms of energy swirled across the sector, striking at the alien fleet with terrifying speed. Ships trembled under the attacks, some exploding instantly. Panic rippled through the ranks, and then the humans acted. The Starborn moved like a living creature, twisting through the energy storms, releasing small pulses that interfered with the Reapers' patterns. The aliens watched in awe as the humans danced through danger, leading their ships through a path that minimized losses. "Observe their method," Alara said. "Not just the moves, watch the timing, the hesitation, the gaps they exploit." A Tauran captain spoke over the comms, voice shaky. "We've never fought like this." "And yet it works." "Yes," Alara replied, "because this is not like other fights. We are not attacking blindly. We are learning, adapting, and exploiting weaknesses. You must do the same." One by one, alien ships followed the example, weaving unpredictably, timing their attacks carefully, and using the humans' maneuvers as guides. The Reapers faltered. Their energy attacks began to miss, patterns breaking for the first time. After the battle, the fleets gathered in a safe zone, though not without losses. Ships burned in orbit, survivors drifting through space in rescue shuttles. Still, morale was higher than anyone had expected. For the first time, the galaxy believed it could fight back. Alara and her crew held a meeting with the alien commanders. She did not reveal all of humanity's secrets, she never would, but she shared enough to give them hope. "Our technology is unique," she explained. "Our shields are adaptive. They learn from attacks instantly. Our engines can maneuver in ways other ships cannot. But the most important thing is not the ship, it is the crew. We anticipate, improvise, and coordinate. You must do the same." An Ellenite scientist raised a hand. "You speak of anticipation, but how do you do it so effectively?" Alara smiled faintly. "We think differently. Humans observe patterns in ways others cannot. We predict not just what will happen, but how others will react. And when something unexpected occurs, we adjust instantly. It is not magic. It is calculation, observation, and courage combined." The alien leaders listened, fascinated and slightly intimidated. Humans were strange in every way. Their ships were smaller, yet more effective. Their weapons were fewer, yet precise. And their minds, that was what made them terrifying. The next engagement came faster than expected. Reports came from a nearby sector. The Reapers were attacking an unprotected colony. Thousands of civilians were at risk, and the alien fleets hesitated, unsure if they could intervene without heavy losses. Alara did not hesitate. "We go," she said firmly. "Follow us." The Starborn led the way, weaving through asteroid fields and debris to reach the colony before the Reapers. Alien ships followed, inspired by the humans' confidence. For once, the galaxy moved with purpose, not fear. When the Reapers arrived, the humans did not attack directly. Instead, they created diversions, drawing the Reapers into dangerous positions while small alien ships rescued civilians. The humans' tactics were unorthodox but effective. Timing, placement, and bold moves kept losses minimal while maximizing impact. A Thryn general whispered to a Tauren captain, "They do not fight like us. They fight like predators in a storm. Unpredictable, precise, terrifying." "Yes," the Tauren agreed, "and effective. I have never seen anything like it." By the end of the battle, the colony was saved, the Reapers repelled temporarily, and alien fleets were gaining confidence in ways they had never imagined. The humans had taught them that courage and creativity could matter as much as firepower. Back on the Starborn, Alara reviewed the data. The Reapers were learning faster now. They adjusted their attacks with every engagement. This meant the humans and their allies could not rely on the same tactics for long. They had to evolve constantly. "Rin," Alara said, turning to her first officer, "we have to stay ahead. They learn, so we must learn faster. We cannot just survive. We must outthink them." Rin nodded. "Every move will be tested." "Yes," Alara replied. "But we can do this. Humans adapt. We anticipate, and if necessary we take risks others will not." It was not just about technology or firepower. It was about the human way of thinking, creative, bold, and relentless. That was what made the humans different. That was why one small ship could inspire an entire galaxy. As the fleets moved to regroup, alien leaders began to whisper among themselves. The humans were strange, yes. Unpredictable, yes. But they were also the spark the galaxy had been waiting for. Vortan approached Zalari quietly. "Do you realize what we are witnessing?" he asked. "Humans are teaching us to fight differently, to think differently. This is not just a battle, it is a revolution in strategy." Zalari nodded slowly. "Yes, and I fear the galaxy may never be the same." Meanwhile, Alara stood on the bridge of the Starborn, gazing out at the stars. The battles were far from over. The Reapers were still out there, still learning, still threatening everything. But for the first time she felt something rare in the galaxy. Hope that humanity could make a difference. She knew the next battles would be harder. The Reapers would adapt faster, strike more fiercely, and push the fleets to their limits. But humans had something no other species possessed: the ability to see possibilities where others saw only danger, and the courage to act on them. As the Starborn prepared for the next engagement, Alara whispered to herself, "We will survive. Not because we are the strongest, but because we are humans, and humans never give up." The galaxy, battered and frightened, watched and learned, and slowly alien crews began to see the humans not just as allies, but as leaders in a war no one thought could be won. The galaxy had learned to hope. Under the guidance of the human ship, the Starborn alien fleets were no longer just surviving. They were beginning to fight back. The Reapers, massive and relentless, still threatened entire star systems, but now the fleets could respond with purpose. No longer scattered and panicked, they moved together, inspired by humans' courage, creativity, and daring. Commander Alara Vance watched the holographic display on the bridge. Energy readings showed multiple Reaper clusters converging on a densely populated system. Civilians, military outposts, and industrial hubs were all in danger. Losses here would be catastrophic. "We have one chance to make this decisive," Alara said. Her voice was calm, commanding, and confident. "We must coordinate all fleets, all species in a single counterattack. Timing will be everything. We must force the Reapers into a trap they cannot escape." Lieutenant Rin studied the display. "It is risky. If we fail, entire fleets could be destroyed." Alara nodded. "I know, but the alternative is worse. If we do nothing, the galaxy loses." The fleets gathered at the designated coordinates, forming a massive, unprecedented armada. Alien ships of every shape and size, Tauren cruisers, Thryn bombers, Allanite frigates, and smaller human vessels moved into position, following instructions from the Starborn. The humans' method was unusual. The fleet did not form a solid wall or line of defense. Instead, it was spread like threads of a web, carefully calculated to funnel the Reapers into a zone of vulnerability. High Commander Vortan watched from his bridge with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "I have fought in hundreds of battles," he muttered. "I have never seen such a formation, and yet it makes sense." "Humans think differently," an Ellenite scientist replied. "They see the battlefield as dynamic, not static. Their strategy relies on adaptability and anticipation. not brute force alone. The Reapers appeared on sensors like storms of shadow and energy, their forms twisting, vast and terrible. The fleets held their breath as the Reapers moved toward the trap. Alara's voice rang out. "Stay calm. Follow the plan. Trust your instincts and trust us." The first wave of Reapers struck with fury. Energy storms lashed through space, tearing apart ships that were too slow, too rigid, or too uncoordinated. But the human-led fleet did not panic. Each human maneuver created openings, diverting the Reapers' attacks and guiding alien ships into positions that maximized impact. A Tauran battleship fired at a Reaper, distracted by the human's movement. The Reaper staggered, briefly losing coordination. Simultaneously, Thrin bombers swooped from an unexpected angle, hitting the Reaper with concentrated energy bursts. The Reaper tried to retaliate, but the humans anticipated its movements, redirecting Allied ships to exploit its hesitation. "Observe and adapt," Alara called out over the network. "This is how you turn survival into victory." Alien crews began to understand the human approach. It was not just about following orders. It was about thinking on the move, predicting outcomes, and daring to act in ways no one else would. Fleets that once relied on sheer numbers now moved with precision and coordination. Even the Reapers, terrifying as they were, began to falter. For the first time, their attacks were delayed, misdirected, and incomplete. They could sense the human influence, but they could not counter it fast enough. Hours passed in tense, electrifying combat. The human tactics created openings the aliens could exploit. Entire Reaper clusters were disrupted, separated from their main formations and vulnerable. Humans and aliens moved in harmony, combining different strengths and technologies. A human fighter squadron led by Lieutenant Rin executed a daring maneuver, weaving through Reaper energy streams to target a vulnerable Reaper core. The Reaper faltered, giving space for alien cruisers to strike. Explosions rippled across space, debris scattering in the void. "Remarkable," muttered Vortan. "They fight not with overwhelming force, but with precision and courage." "Every move counts." Alara watched carefully, her eyes scanning the energy signatures. "We are not finished yet. The Reapers are smart, but humans are smarter." Then came the critical moment. A massive Reaper, far larger than the others, appeared at the center of the battlefield. It pulsed with energy, radiating waves that threatened to destroy the human-led fleet. Alien captains froze. This was the end, their greatest fear. Alara did not hesitate. "Focus on the pattern," she instructed. "Do not attack blindly. Anticipate, adapt, and exploit weaknesses. This is what humans do. This is what you can do too." The human ship moved with lightning speed, leading smaller vessels in a synchronized pattern that disrupted the Reaper's attacks. The Reaper staggered, confused by the unpredictable human maneuvers. Alien ships seized the moment, striking precise energy beams at its core. The Reaper roared, sending waves of energy through the fleet, but the humans had prepared. Adaptive shields flared across ships, absorbing damage, while evasive maneuvers minimized loss. The battle was brutal yet controlled, and then the Reaper collapsed. Its energy dissipated, and the remaining Reapers hesitated. The human-led strategy had worked. They had broken the largest of the Reaper's forces, turning fear into opportunity. As the battle ended, fleets drifted among the debris. Losses were still heavy, but victory had been achieved. Alien leaders exchanged astonished glances. For the first time, they had won a battle they thought impossible. High Commander Vortan approached Alara. "I do not know how to thank you," he said. "You're humans. You have changed the way we fight." "You have changed the galaxy," Alara shook her head. "We did not do it alone. You followed, learned, and acted with courage. Humans are just a spark. You, all of you, carried it forward. That is what makes victory possible." The aliens looked at each other and realized she was right. Humans had led, but the galaxy had fought together for the first time in centuries. Cooperation, trust, and adaptability had become more powerful than technology alone. That night, in the quiet moments between battles, the fleets rested. Alien crews repaired ships, tended to the wounded, and shared stories of the humans' bravery. Across the galaxy, tales of the Starborn's maneuvers spread quickly, becoming legend even before the battles ended. Alara and her crew reviewed the battle's data. The Reapers were adapting faster than expected, but the humans had taught the galaxy to think differently, move differently, and fight differently. That alone gave them an edge no one had predicted. Rin looked up from the console. They are learning, Captain. Faster than we thought, Ilara nodded. Then we must learn faster. Adaptation is the key. Every battle will test us, but humans survive because we do not fear the unknown. We act, we improvise, and we never give up. She gazed out at the stars, thinking about the fleets she had led, the lives they had saved, and the Reapers still out there. The war was far from over, but the tide had shifted. For the first time, the galaxy could hope, not just to survive, but to win. Ilara smiled faintly. Humans were not invincible. They could fail. But they could also inspire, teach, and lead in ways no one had imagined. And that was enough. The Starborn prepared to move again, leading the fleets into new battles, facing Reapers more dangerous than ever, and proving that the courage, creativity, and resilience of humans could turn the impossible into reality. The galaxy held its breath. After weeks of relentless battles, the alien fleets, guided by the human ship Starborn, had survived against the Void Reapers. Entire sectors had been saved, civilians rescued, and fleets strengthened. Yet the war was far from over. The Reapers had grown smarter, faster, and more aggressive, pushing all forces to their limits. Commander Ilara Vance stood on the bridge of the Starborn, watching the holographic map of the galaxy. Energy readings flickered in violent patterns, signs of massive Reaper concentrations approaching a strategic cluster of populated systems. These systems were vital, containing resources, research stations, and millions of civilians. If the Reapers reached them, the galaxy might lose everything. We cannot wait, Ilara said, voice steady. This is our moment to end it, or at least give the galaxy a chance to survive without constant fear. Lieutenant Rin nodded. All fleets are in position. They trust your plan. Ilara gave a small, confident smile. Then let's not disappoint them. The human-led fleet gathered near the edge of a bright nebula. Alien ships moved in precise patterns, their formations guided by human strategy but infused with the creativity of each species. Humans had taught them to anticipate, improvise, and act together. And now it showed. High Commander Vortan of the Elenite Navy watched in awe from his flagship. I never thought I would see the day when we would fight as one. Humans, they have changed everything. Yes, said a Tauran admiral. They have shown us courage, yes, but also the power of cooperation. I did not believe it possible until now. Ilara's voice came over the fleet's communications network. Stay calm, focus, every move counts. Trust each other and trust yourself. We fight not just for survival. We fight to save the galaxy. The Reapers arrived, larger and more numerous than ever before. Waves of shadow and energy rolled across space, crackling with destructive power. Alien ships trembled under the sheer force, but humans remained calm, moving with unmatched precision. Observe the patterns, Ilara called. Adapt and strike where they are weakest. The Starborn darted forward, leading smaller squadrons into the heart of the Reaper formation. The human strategy was unconventional. They did not attack head-on. Instead, they created diversions, striking at key points, disrupting energy flows, and forcing the Reapers into vulnerable positions. Alien ships followed, weaving through gaps and targeting Reapers with precise attacks. For the first time, Reapers hesitated, their waves of energy faltering. One massive Reaper attempted to strike a group of Tauran cruisers, but human-led maneuvers diverted its attacks, leaving it exposed. Hours passed in relentless, chaotic combat. Explosions and energy waves lit up space like violent fireworks. Ships moved with uncanny coordination, combining the strengths of humans and aliens. The Starborn darted through danger, guiding, teaching, and inspiring. Lieutenant Rin executed a daring maneuver, leading a squadron through the largest Reaper cluster. Their coordinated attack caused a chain reaction that disrupted the Reaper's energy core patterns. Alien ships pressed the advantage, exploiting every weakness the humans revealed. This is incredible, muttered Vortan. We are witnessing a force unlike anything in the galaxy. Humans are not just fighting, they are transforming the battle itself. Ilara glanced at him briefly. It is not humans alone. It is cooperation, adaptability, and courage combined. You all are part of this, but humans provide the spark. The turning point came when the largest Reaper, a massive entity of shadow and pure energy, surged into the battlefield. It radiated waves so powerful that several alien ships were forced to retreat. The fleet faltered for a moment, uncertainty rippling through the ranks. Alara did not flinch. Focus on patterns, not size. Courage, creativity, and precision. Use them. The Starborn moved with blinding speed, weaving around the Reaper's attacks, drawing it toward the trap they had set. Smaller human and alien ships attacked from unexpected angles, disrupting the Reaper's energy flows and forcing it to stagger. Finally, the coordinated strike succeeded. Alien cruisers and human squadrons unleashed a concentrated barrage of energy directly at the Reaper's core. It erupted in a wave of light and energy before collapsing into fragments. The remaining Reapers, sensing the destruction of their largest ally, faltered and withdrew. The battle ended. Fleets floated among the debris of destroyed Reapers, exhausted but victorious. Losses had been high, but the galaxy had survived. For the first time in decades, the shadow of hopelessness lifted. Alien leaders gathered, stunned but grateful. High Commander Vortan approached Alara. "You have not only led us in battle," he said quietly. "You have changed how the galaxy fights. Human, you are extraordinary." Alara shook her head. "Extraordinary? No, humans are just determined. We survive by thinking differently, by adapting, and by inspiring those around us. You have fought bravely. You have learned. That is what made victory possible." The alien leaders realized the truth. The humans had not just saved lives, they had taught the galaxy how to fight and survive. In the aftermath, fleets repaired, civilians were rescued, and the galaxy began to recover. Alara did not stay to claim power or glory. The humans did not seek dominance. Instead, they shared strategies, knowledge, and lessons, encouraging cooperation among species. The Starborn became a symbol, a spark of hope and resilience. Humans had shown the galaxy that courage, creativity, and adaptability could overcome even the greatest threats. Rumors of humans' bravery spread across star systems. Tales were told of a single ship that led alien fleets to victory against forces no one else could withstand. Children listened, inspired, imagining the day they could emulate the humans' courage. As fleets celebrated their victory, Alara stood on the bridge of the Starborn, gazing at the stars. The galaxy was safe for now. The Reapers had been repelled, but they had not vanished entirely. Humans had shown what was possible, but the universe remained vast and unpredictable. Rin approached. "Captain, do you think they will return?" Alara smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But if they do, the galaxy is ready. Not because humans are everywhere, but because humans have taught everyone to see possibilities where others saw only fear." She turned to the stars. "We will continue to protect, to inspire, and to survive. Humans never give up, and now the galaxy knows it too." Months later, the fleets rebuilt stronger than ever. Trade resumed, colonies flourished, and cooperation between species deepened. The Starborn and its crew moved quietly through uncharted space, leaving a legacy without claiming it. Galactic leaders occasionally looked to the stars, knowing that one human ship had changed the course of history. The galaxy had been saved not just by firepower, but by human ingenuity, courage, and the unyielding will to survive. Alara and her crew would continue to explore, to guide when needed and to inspire from afar. The story of the humans became legend, an example for generations to come. And though the galaxy had been pushed to the brink, it had emerged stronger, united, and hopeful. A single human ship had proven a simple truth. Even in the darkest times, courage, creativity, and determination could change the fate of the universe.